Our customers make money based on how much data they can get and the quality of that data. But those two don't matter if we don't have the relationships. We're a company that helps companies become more robust, more sophisticated organizations that can serve enterprise clients in a meaningful way. The big idea here that we're actively working on is to make affordable beyond visual line of sight drone flight common here in the US and around the world. We're an organization that is absolutely in love with innovative problem solving, but when the need's there, so are we.
The advantage they have in their aircraft is that with this equipment, we're able to carry larger payloads at longer distances and map larger parcels of ground in less time. Trevor, the head of this company right here, has assisted me in many different ways that I just couldn't have done without him. He's brought me up to a higher level in my company and put me on larger projects because of the equipment that they have.
One of the things we focus on as a company is helping our customers not just with the hardware, but with all the ugly stuff. How do you deal with the FAA? How do you deal with documenting all of it? And at this price point, we're standalone. Nobody's got the level of redundancy we have at this price.
It's been more of a relationship than just a customer experience. We've worked with them. They've been out in the field with us and on demos and helping us with customers. It definitely wasn't a, here's a drone, have a nice life.
We have a phenomenal team of engineers, pilots, even salesmen. I'm just so incredibly blessed with a team of people who can take this idea of the relationship matters and just drive that home in everything we do.
Hello everybody, and thanks for joining us as we begin to break down the Centero V2 VTOL. You'll see here on the spec sheet, launch and recovery methods are of course vertical. Max wind speeds are 15 miles per hour, gusting 20. And the line of sight visibility of the system is 1.25 miles given its 2-meter wingspan. Battery configurations dictate endurance, everything from 1 hour and 45 minutes to 45 minutes. We'll get into that in a little bit, as well as payloads down the road. Those specs are meant to be rated for real-world conditions. That includes max payload weight and normal operating winds, about 5 to 7 miles per hour. Those battery configurations can be partitioned for allowing travel on commercial flights, and the longer endurance hour 45 packs, you cannot fly on a commercial flight with them, but they do give you 1 hour and 45 minutes of true rated endurance with a reserve. So you can see here in this video, one of our manufacturing technicians is putting the aircraft together. All the components come out of the same case. That case can be transported in any truck or SUV, not a very large case. And the tails and the wings simply snap into place. Minimal to no tooling required. They also release in a very similar fashion with the press of a couple buttons. This video was taken in about 1.5 minutes, so it gives you an idea of the time it takes to assemble the aircraft, out for everything from out of the case to ready to fly. This aircraft's actually in production right now, so forgive the lamination in progress. And you are set to fly. Pictured here is a few different angles of the aircraft. You can see the side and front profiles, an angled shot as well. Gives you an idea of how the aircraft is proportioned in the 4-rotor setup and the V-tail. Now we'll get into the good stuff. We'll get into some flight video. This is the aircraft taking off. It'll transition at whatever altitude you have set in the mission creation. Typically that's 150 feet AGL, but that'll depend on the area that you're operating in. Upon transition, the back motors will kick off, the front will tilt forward, and it'll climb to its cruising altitude in either a linear fashion or a spiral fashion, again, depending on the terrain that you're operating in. The mission's meant to be entirely autonomous. However, the pilot can take over manual control at any point in time. And we think that's important. The aircraft's flown after several major hurricanes, including Hurricanes Barry and Florence. We have customers currently flying after Hurricane Hannah has made landfall in Texas this week. This is a landing video. The aircraft has come in for its landing. The back motors have kicked on, the front motors have tilted up, and the aircraft will slowly make its way down to its designated landing site. It's important to note that there have been 20 plus beyond visual line of sight ECOA approvals for this platform. That ranges everything from hurricane response to flood response. Now again, if you're operating in an area that typically has high windstorms, anything like that typically falls under a good reason to file an ECOA, and the platform has a proven history of approvals and a track record for such. We put all of our aircraft through a series of certification flights before they go out the door. We want to make sure that everything's firing on all cylinders before we hand it off to a customer. Pictured here in this video, you're going to see one of our pilots putting the aircraft through the ringer before delivery. The aircraft goes through a max endurance mission, as well as a few other sorties and maneuver tests. I believe this was a manual hover test the pilot was putting the aircraft through. We put 6 hours on the system before it goes out, and all the components undergo a series of tests to ensure proper safety is met before the aircraft gets delivered. We conduct all training, whether that be through ourselves, the OEM, or a partner company of ours. We can do training either on site or right here in Daytona Beach. We have 2 different flying fields we utilize. One's pictured here in this video, and the other we have access to 24/7 right up the road from our offices. We have a couple different partners in the detect and avoid space, the strongest one of which, Iris Automation. This aircraft can be equipped with their optical detect and avoid to meet some of the more robust safety cases required for beyond visual line of sight applications on a day-to-day basis. I know that I mentioned the ECOA history. However, Censys Technologies does support customers' journeys in going for day-to-day beyond visual line of sight waiver application approvals. Contact us for more information on that. As promised, here are some of the payload configurations. Everything from optical to multispectral to thermal to gimbaled EOIR payloads are available. If you have a custom payload that you'd like to ask about integrating, please reach out, and as long as it meets our swap requirements, we should be able to accommodate. All the payloads are hot swappable and interchangeable plug-and-play style. In this video, this was a search and rescue demo done at night with the base model gimbal EOIR camera. There you can see me running through the grass airstrip. Target tracking feature enabled. This was for a customer who supports federal agencies. This was the base model gimbal. The models above it go all the way up to 20 times optical zoom, 2 times thermal zoom. Thermal resolution 640 by 512, although it might not look like it on this screen. If you'd like to see more video coming from the camera, more native files, please reach out to anyone from Censys Technologies so we can get you some additional video taken off the gimbaled EOIR payloads, as well as any data sets coming from our other payloads as well. This is a series of 3 pictures. This is all coming off the original picture seen here, and we zoom in a little bit on the storage containers. This is the medium zoom, and then the ultimate zoom coming up. You can see how detailed you can get with the Sony A7R III, even at 400 feet, even at 40 miles an hour. You can get a really good level of detail down to that 1 centimeter ground sampling distance. One of the more notable flights done with our system was conducted by Soaring Eagle Imaging after Hurricane Barry made landfall last year in Louisiana. This was done under an emergency COA, and they accomplished this flight with full FAA approval without the use of visual observers. And wrapping the presentation up is a series of pictures of our customers out in the field with our equipment. You'll see the Mobile Operations Center, meant for efficiency and keeping the ground control station under one roof. You'll see the 30-foot mast for enhanced C2 links, so you're always maintaining strong C2. 4-monitor setup for beyond visual line of sight operations. We manufacture that trailer ourselves as well. Please reach out with any questions about how the Centero V2 VTOL platform can be integrated into your storm response operations.